It's all good.
Yes, we're
I
good.
know, it's not fair.
Hello. Okay. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Clerk Boudreaux, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember King,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Present.
Mayor Brown,
Present.
Councilmember Fellows,
Present.
Councilmember Tucson,
Present.
Councilmember Simmons.
Yes. Here.
Council-
Oh.
Councilmember McLean is absent. We have a quorum.
You need a second. I'll entertain a motion for agenda approval.
So moved. Support.
Oh, well, I'll come back to it. Any updates or changes to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, all in favor of the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
And would someone like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember McLean?
I would move to excuse Councilmember McLean.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We are at our opportunity for public comment. So members of the audience will have 3 minutes to address council. I will start with the names on the list and go in increments of 10 if there are 10 between in person and online. When I call your name, if you could please approach the podium if you're able and state your name just if you're comfortable for the record. James Nemeth. Do you want to give time? Good evening.
Hi. My name is James Nemeth. I represent 539 South Huron.
And this is public comment, so it's.
Oh, I didn't have a public comment.
Oh, okay.
No, I was,
Oh, you're just signing it. Okay.
yeah.
You're all good then. All right, thank you. Does anyone else in the audience want to give public comment? Anybody online, Tracy?
Sorry, I'm just logging in.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, well then, seeing none, we'll close public comment. And move into our first resolution. Councilmember Tucson, you have that.
Yes. So, excuse me, resolution number 2026-079, regarding the property located at 539 South Huron Street. Whereas council has reviewed the report of findings and order of the hearing officer, and whereas council has had an opportunity, to hear testimony and evidence offered, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Ypsilanti that the Ypsilanti City Council hereby approves the hearing officer's orders. Council further resolves that the order must be complied with within 60 days, and I so move.
Support. Been moved by Councilmember Tucson, supported by Councilmember Simmons. And I'm sorry, Joe, I forgot one thing before you get started that I wanted to say. Folks who are here for the data center meeting, that is at Ypsi Township, just wanted to be clear. And also, I think we'll talk about the last time this process has occurred in the city, so that, okay, thank you.
Good evening, council. Thank you for hearing, for being the quasi judicial body acting today as the last part of the dangerous buildings process. Just to be very clear, none of us have actually gone through this process as it stands. The last time this was used was, I believe, 2011. And so it has been quite some time. There's a lot of reasons for that. One of which being we have not had a licensed building official as a staff member. We've used outside contractors for that in the past. And it's really allowed us to go a lot deeper in making sure people are following our codes. Jerry Dunham is, you can come up, Jerry. He will be presenting the facts. If you have questions, I'm here to kind of go through some of the process, but essentially we have identified them as dangerous buildings, inspected the buildings, went to our dangerous buildings hearings officer. Officer Boltman is in the back, but so he is here as well. Some people that you will be hearing today appeared, some did not. And so now the last step in that process is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't have 3 minutes.
the last step in that process is to have you all review what we have found and what the hearings officer has found. And then render a final decision. I do think that people are in the audience, they have time to promote, to present some testimony. But essentially, you're the final arbiter of this outside of. So that's kind of where we're at. As far as 539 here, I don't know if you want me to get into some of the specifics and have Mr. Dunn speak on that.
Before you do that, I just want to make sure we have the process. So we'll hear evidence from staff.
Yep.
We can get testimony from the entity if they're present, and then we then deliberate and render a decision.
Yeah, and you can approve, disapprove, or modify the order. It can be demolish the structure. You can give more time to fix the structure, if you so choose. And if we demolish a structure, we can assess it. We bill the owner after that, and if they don't pay, we can assess it to taxes.
And so that decision is also to be made in one of these choices, or does this choice mean a building will be demolished, it won't be demolished, will allow, like, on the resolution, I guess? What are we
Yeah, so the resolution you have in front of you, there's, I think, 3 options, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And so you can choose to approve, disapprove, or modify. If you do choose to demo, they can appeal that to circuit court. So just because you make this action does not mean there isn't an appeal process, but you are the final step of the city process for dangerous buildings.
And approval means demolition.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody, we haven't, 15 years this hasn't happened, so, okay. All right, Councilmember Simmons?
Is this like where we can ask general questions? Yeah. A couple of quick general questions. One of the things is that if the city demolishes, and that it could then be assessed on their taxes. I guess the question I have is, what is the likelihood that they will pay, especially if it looks like we have a couple that we weren't able to get in touch with.
Yeah.
Also.
So the likelihood, typically when we have big assessments like that, people don't pay. It gets assessed to their taxes. When we assess their taxes, the county essentially makes us whole through the tax process. And then after 3 years of not paying, the property can get auctioned. If the property gets auctioned after 3 years of non-payment, and they don't collect enough money from that auction, then that money is clawed back. And so that is a risk when we actually demolish a building. But some of the buildings that we're talking about, the demolition is not going to be substantial. And so
I'm sorry, you're saying that the county can claw back the money that they give the city for making us whole?
if they do not receive enough money during the auction process.
Mhm.
If it gets to that point,
If
it
it
may
gets-
not get to
Correct.
that. Okay.
And then, thank you, this is helpful. And then, how does a building wind up on this list? I wonder about this just because I'm like, oh, well, I see some buildings that look like they are in similar fashion. So how do they wind up on the list? And what does it mean if someone's living in one of these buildings? Like, what would happen with?
So none of the buildings today, Jerry.
Yeah, I don't think
None of the buildings anyone's living in. If it got to that point, we would have condemned the structure long before that. So this is for buildings that are typically vacant, in really bad shape. Some have metal falling down frequently. Some have been boarded up for years. And so that would have to be a decision council would make, but once again, there is a very lengthy process before we get to you on this. I don't know if we would demo a building with somebody living in it. Mr. Dunham, can you speak to that a little bit?
So the city hasn't had like the vacant building or the dangerous buildings list active in a while. So we, as a building department, is redoing these lists and taking it active. So as we're going through these, you decide whether it's vacant, dangerous building. There's different criteria that the city has. The code decides whether it's a dangerous building, and there's criteria whether it qualifies as a dangerous building under the building code or the property maintenance code that the city uses. So that's how you determine whether it's qualifies as a dangerous building. If it doesn't qualify and it's vacant, then it goes on the vacant building list, and we deal with it with the monthly inspections that way to make sure that the building's being secured, the lawn's being maintained. And if it has exterior violations, we're dealing with it with a correction notice to make sure that these exterior violations are getting repaired, to make sure that it's not bringing down the value of other properties in the neighborhood, or, you know, the character of the neighborhood. If it qualifies as a dangerous building, it's going to get red tagged, and we're going to actively make sure that it's vacant because it's not safe for someone to be living in. That's going to be like the first step. Then once it gets vacant, then it would be go to where the water is shut off, water bond, and then if people are continually trying to get into the structure, then it's boarded up. Then it's saying, you know, go to the, we're going to send a letter of what the violations are. There's going to be a period where they're given time to try to fix it. If it's not fixed, then it's saying get, you know, the notice of the hearing to go to the, before the dangerous buildings officer. They're given whatever he decides, and then if they don't comply, then we're come before city council as we are today.
But how we got this list, I think, to kind of this.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I mean,
As if we got, there was some previous ones, looks like back in 2018, 17, they tried to put together a list. Some of these were letters were sent out to them that they were going to perform inspections, but inspections were never done. So we started there. There was some houses that were being built as dangerous buildings, but they never made it to the hearing process because it wasn't set up. So those were some of them that we started with, ones that were already were previously built as dangerous buildings, ones that were sent letters. So we started with those first. And we also started with houses that we knew through having a fire or something like that were some of the worst type homes
The
in
only,
the areas.
the only
Or
addition to that is the one we're talking about right now, which is 539 South Huron, which has a fence that's blown down half the time. It's missing key parts. It's not keeping anyone out, and there are structural beams falling from the second story. And so that one is the only one that's a little different. It wasn't on the list before, but we also have a list of 79 enforcements over the last 2 years on that building in particular, of us trying to get that in order. So that one is
a little
a
different.
little different, but it's also, we see it whenever we come in to the city from the highway. But it's also, it's not even so much the site of that, is just the actual condition. The fencing, we have begged for the fencing to actually be fixed. We have begged for structural engineering reports for years now. It's not happening.
So this is helpful, and I might ask something later just to kind of get a little bit more clarity. And then the last thing I just had was if a space is torn down, or we agree, what then happens with the property? Does the property then, like, does the person who owns it then have to do something with it? Does it then come, like, what happens if the building is torn down?
When we tear down a building, if we get to that point, we will do like we've done with the 2 buildings we did on Harriet, where we demo the building, backfill the space, seed it, so it can actually be just a vacant lot. They will own that lot unless they tax foreclose on it, and then, or sell it. And from there, the whole process will continue, but it will at least not be an attractive nuisance, and a dangerous building anymore. It'll just be a vacant lot.
Thank you.
Councilmember King?
I do have just a few questions as well. One thing I noticed is all of these buildings are in Ward 1. Is there a reason for that?
With Ward 1, It's kind of where some of the older housing stock is that was in the boarded up for a long period of time. Not all of our dangerous buildings have been in Ward 1, but at this point, these are all in Ward 1.
I mean, do we have more common? Are there other dangerous buildings in the city? Because
Yes.
okay, and then that leads me to my next question. As I was looking through the packet, I seen two other mailing addresses that these were sent to, or whatever, something was sent. What, it was 585 First and 352 Warden. And I'm just wondering why were,
That's the property records that are on city file for tax notices and bills from the city. And so the address doesn't always have a mailbox in that, or that mailbox isn't checked. And so we use the address that they either pay taxes on or that they have given the city.
but it was a different name too. So that's why I was a little confused and I really wanted clarity on those two.
And we have, right now we're prepared for 539. We can go into each one and who got the notice when, at that time. But is it for 539?
No, again, these are two different addresses. And again, I was wondering, like, dang, first of all, they're still in Ward 1. And then I also was wondering, is that something that's coming in the future? Was that a mistake that was in the packet? I just wanted understanding on what that was. And
For 588 Madison.
are you asking me what the streets were?
So that it was sent to the Avondale Circle?
Nope, it says 585 First Ave.
Oh, because, all right.
That's one.
First, is that 580?
It's actually St. James Church, and that's who it was addressed to.
I don't think we're seeing St. James Church today.
Yeah, that was.
But is it coming? Is that, I mean, I was just trying to,
That we've talked to, the guy.
Yeah.
That is on the next list and he is working on it. And so my guess is he has not had his chance before the dangerous buildings officer.
It's went before the dangerous building.
That one has-
But his time isn't up.
Okay.
and then there's another address, 352 Borden.
So I think that's in the same position. That's not before us today, correct?
No, it's not. Again, it's the notices. I have the paper packet. I can show you if it's better. Like, it's just notices with those addresses on there. And so for me, I'm seeking clarity.
This
on-
gets into the certified mail.
So like this right here, actually perfect. That's one.
Okay, it must have been part of a larger packet. So those are in process. Those are not before you. And so, those were put in there.
Oh, okay. I get, yeah. So that was my question.
Yeah.
So I am hoping when this comes before us again, it is houses or buildings or structures that are not only in Ward 1. That's what my hope is. I think that's all my questions for now.
Thank you. Any other general questions before they speak about 539? All right.
Mr. Dunham, you want to introduce yourself?
Jerry Dunn, building department manager, building official for the city of Ypsilanti. So 539 South Huron. So on this one, on December 13th, 2024, we sent a dangerous building correction letter to 539 Huron Real Estate Company. At the time, the address and assessing was 539 South Huron Street. The main issue was the unsafe structure, which the comment was that the building that they were building was unoccupied for over 2 years, and that the owners had failed to provide documentation that the unfinished structure was safe. We had asked for documentation because the construction had ceased on the building and that the construction elements were open to the weather, that they are still safe to be continued to be built on in the future. And then we also cited on the next page, we did the next thing that they needed to provide us is the building permit required a special inspector. So commercial building projects are kind of different than residential, because there's certain aspects of a commercial project where you have to have a special inspector. Doesn't mean that you still don't get building inspections from the jurisdiction, but the special inspector is there sometimes all day continuous while they're doing certain aspects, because they need to be performing certain tests. And most time this is for concrete, welding of steel, things like this. So this project called out for doing of the concrete, that they'd have special inspector on site while they poured the footings, because you need to make sure that there's rebar, there's different strengths of concrete that when they're poured, and you're supposed to give those reports to the city to make sure they're being done and that they're passing those special inspections. They didn't have that special inspector on site and didn't turn in those reports, so we asked for those for about 6 months before we sent this. And we also they did not call for building inspections during when they did the footings or any of the framing of that steel. So we asked for engineers to reports on what was done, which we did not receive. And then basically, and then we said about it being a dangerous building because it didn't have any active building permits anymore, because all the building permits had expired on the project. About getting that building permits. When we went out there to do the inspection on the building for the dangerous building hearing, what we found was that the interior footings for the posts did not match the size that were on the drawings. The footings were supposed to be 5 foot by 12 inches deep. Some of the posts were not even sitting on any type of footing. The blocks were broken in area, the cement blocks and the elevator shafts were broken. It was lacking in some of the port cores. It was lacking the bolting for bolting down the steel walls. Code requires every so many feet that you have a bolt to bolt down your plate to the wall to secure everything together. That was missing in multiple places. Or the method that those were secured down did not meet code. Rebar was bent over in area. Rebar, when you got concrete, rebar is a piece of metal rod, and that kind of holds the concrete and everything together. You constantly bending it over. You just like a screw. If you bend it back and forth, it can break off. It weakens it, which the rebar in spots where it's required was missing from sticking out of the concrete where they had poured the cores in areas when we reviewed the plans. And also, you know, the steel was rusted out, whether that weaken the integrity or not. We're unsure without having it analyzed by a structural engineer, but from what we have seen on this and from not having the inspections and from looking at the project, the footings do not appear to meet code. For the supports of it, the structure has sat for now roughly 5 years without any protection from the weather. And that's why it was deemed a dangerous building under the code.
The last thing I will just add, I'm sorry, if council's questions. We have sat down with the owner countless times with several different lawyers to try to get this project back moving. We are told constantly that give us 2 days, give us a week, give us a month, we're ready to go. And every time that we say, okay, it is stalled for even longer. It's the first time I've seen the owner in about 4 months. But once again, we're promised a lot, never delivered, and we now have metal falling off structures.
So I just want to talk process. So should we ask you questions about this now?
You can, and then
We have them.
yes.
Does council have questions for what was presented by Jerry? Councilor Simmons?
Yes, thank you. My question for this one, so, and I saw in the packet, this conversation about footings as an example, and lack of inspections that would have been expected to have happened, especially for a commercial project. So I guess the question I have is just that if the city did not intervene, could that have meant that this structure would have been built outside of our safety code, which then could have brought forward potential future issues?
We would have not let any inspection proceed without all of these documentation. So no is the answer.
Mhm.
This project without this necessary documentation would have never proceeded any further because we wouldn't have allowed it.
Mhm.
Everything is expired. They'd have to pull new. And so no.
Because it would have been stopped at some point, because it seemed like they were building without the inspections already.
Well, they were. And they're not required to give us all of the independent inspections unless we ask. And when we asked,
see.
they didn't have them. And so we typically ask before the project is done to make sure it's done properly. And we trust as projects are going that they are going smoothly, and anything can kind of hang that up. This one, when we asked after construction had stalled for about a year, we got nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Fellows, I think I saw your hand.
Yeah, I have the more general questions, not about the specific building, because it transitioned quickly and I missed that, so apologize. I had questions from, I guess, mostly you, Joe.
Yeah.
Were the owners notified of this hearing?
Yes.
Okay. As I understand it, and I could be wrong, the dangerous buildings inspector role is pretty new, and so we haven't done this process in a long time. Is that correct?
Correct.
And is there, I guess, like when it was done in the past, was there expectation of how these processes are, and is there any new considerations now? Like why are we revisiting it now after a long time of?
Yeah, so the last dangerous buildings hearing was done in 2011. We did have a dangerous buildings officer for about a year in 2018. But before we could get that activated, they moved out of the state. And so they could no longer be a dangerous building official. The main reason that it's being activated now is we finally got the staff to actually do the inspections needed, and the wealth of knowledge having an on-staff building official is allowing us to actually build these lists, and actually get some of our problem properties fixed.
And so it sounds like the goal is to move it into being usable or fixed buildings or land.
Yes, correct.
And, I saw in here that we can approve, disapprove, or modify. Like, what sort of modifications have you seen?
You could give people more time to fix the property, or you could give them less time. Right, I think, well, there's an ordinance requirement of at least 30 days. But you could give them more time. You could make them tear down one building. So if there's multiple buildings that are dangerous on a property, that could be an option. And so,
Mhm.
that's,
Did any of it, when the building owners were outreached, did anybody contact back or respond?
yeah, we have spoken to several. Two of them are in the audience right now. I don't think Mr. Nemeth reached out to us during this process.
Mr. Powell's on Zoom.
Mr. Powell's on Zoom. So we have, as people know, we've sent a lot of properties through this process, at least cursory. We have ended the process if people are starting to do work, or at least in the process of doing work or pulling permits to do work. And so the goal is to have this be an annual, not even annual, but more than annual process that we are going through to make sure our buildings are safe and secure. Right. So, but the goal is either, and that's why you won't see many buildings in the historic district, because our goal for there is the demo by neglect to get those big buildings fixed. Because this process is either make safe or demo. There's kind of a
Neglect versus, can you explain?
demo by neglect is you are neglecting a building in the historic district for so long that the building is crumbling. That's a separate process, which is different than this, which the historic district handle.
Oh, okay.
Good to know. Okay.
So it doesn't come through us at all.
No.
I see. And so is this a final step then in this process, or it then goes to demo?
Unless it gets appealed to the
Right.
county court.
Okay, one more appeal and goes to court.
To here? Why?
So they'll go, there's 30 days or whatever, that when they don't apply, they'll come back and say that comply.
I was-
and that demo.
Yeah, you give it 30 days from here, and then if they do not comply, I was incorrect. So you would give it 30 days to demo it or pull the necessary permits. If they don't, then you would order the official demo.
Then we would do it again. So there'd be a resolution that
Yeah, they
comes
come
before
back,
us to do official demo. Okay, so there's one more step. Okay. And then I guess finally, I guess since some people are in the audience, we might want to hear from them if they're here. And after, if these go to demolition after the 30 days passes, or then would the next step be doing like a RFP for demolition contractors?
Correct.
Okay, understood.
Yes, so I was pausing to see if there are questions for you all about what you presented, and then gonna offer the floor to the owner. Okay. Mr. Nemeth, you can come forward.
City Council, my name is James Nemeth. I represent 539 South Huron. So to reiterate what Joe said, this has been a long going process, if you guys know that, at the 539. So when we started this, we started this building back in 18, I think. Real excited about it, had funding for the project. We were going full steam on the project. We had to come into building over here, and we had to put up a bond, a very large amount of bond. I think it was like $55,000 before we started construction. We put that bond up for that. We had to sit in a meeting with the city, all the people involved in it at the time. Joe wasn't here at that time, and the new inspector here wasn't there. So you guys had an outside company that would do all the inspections. He was in the meeting. He explained to how everything goes, the process. We had OM, I forgot whatever it was. They're the ones that come out and make sure the retaining pond was put in, all the piping's put in right. We also had to have MDOT come and make sure that we had the pipings go in inspection. So we learned everything that I had to do. We put the bond there. So we were all excited. We had that done. We had everything in, they told us exactly the order we went to. Had the steel ordered, had the cement, had the layouts, all the, we had to do modifying because it went back and forth between engineers because there was a problem underneath. And we did the engineering, got it approved by the city. So they kept taking my permit money because they were out there. We were out there and I made sure they were out there. I was there every day running that business. So I was out there making sure that the inspectors were out there. So the inspectors would come out there and and I learned, how I learned. I said, how come in only 2 weeks we can pour cement in the foundation? And they told me, they said, we have an inspector out here. It has to be so many pound per pressure to put the foundation in. And that was inspected. They were all inspected. The OMC inspector, he was out there making sure, he was there actually sitting in his truck whenever the pipe got put in, he was there to approve it and said they could go further. They couldn't just come out there and build whatever they wanted. They had to come out there and inspect each one of the pipes there and they said they could bury it afterwards. So I had that inspected. So get to the point of it. When Joe wasn't there yet, no one was there. We were running out of little time, and this is what we had a problem with our builder. Our builder took $1.7 million of our money because we were a dispensary. We had cash. We gave him $1.5 million to build a building. He had the steel put up and all the other stuff. Nothing was getting done. So we said, halt this. We're not paying any more money until we get it done. So we had, so then it got to a lawsuit in that point, and then we had to get a permit for it. We're running out of a permit. I think it was 2 years ago now. So I ran down here. I talked, and there were some other issues too. That wasn't. So we had a trailer on the property there. When Joe came back, says, "Hey, you guys aren't building. I want that trailer gone." We had to remove the trailer, pull it all out of there. They had all our employees there because we had a small building, but we were doing big business there. We were doing really good there, and we moved that out there. We did what we were supposed to on that. Then the inspector came to me and said, "Hey, Jim, you have like 3 days to make sure your building permits are in." And I said, "Okay." So I came up here. I could either pay $6,000 for 6 months, or I could pay $12,000 for a year. I paid $12,000. So I gave him $12,000, thinking it was okay. Joe came back with a letter and said, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I want you guys." The time ran out, I guess, for the building plans. So he wanted me to resubmit all new building plans, resubmit everything new. But before that, I already had my license. I already paid for it. So what I'm just saying is, another thing too, is when Joe said in 25 or whatever the date was, he said, "Hey, I would like to get a report on the steel and all that." So I sent over to the building inspector, and you guys can see this. This was emailed to them. This was them coming out. The reputable, I think the city uses this company here that had the building inspected about if there anything outstanding wrong. And they've got a couple minor things on there, but they said for the structure, for what it's in at this time, it's fine. So I don't know if you want to read that or whatever, but it's a document that
What's the date on that document?
February 19th, 2025. So that was when they required that. So I had that done for them. Yes.
Not sure what.
Yeah.
I just want to see what it is.
Councilmember Simmons, would you like me to go make you guys a copy?
Please.
Thank you.
So anyway, get to it. I've never heard anything really about the building. Besides that, I applied that. It's been an ongoing thing, and I can see the frustration from Joe and the building department, and the frustration on our end too was because we were in a lawsuit, and when you're in a lawsuit, it's no funding. The funding was stopped. Everything was stopped. So it just you'd get some information on somebody saying, "Hey, you guys, we're going to fund, we're going to do this," and then it would stop. So it wasn't that we were trying to miscommunicate with Joe or the inspector, but we had a very successful business. We were very, very well liked in this community for 8 years. We did a lot for this community. We had and we still have. I'm very close with this community, especially the sector over there. Them people over there, and when they came in and said, "Hey, you didn't finish your building over there, so we're going to shut your building down, we're going to shut you down out of business completely. So you don't have no funding now to complete it because your business is over just a little bit on the property. Because if that's a pretty big property, it's 3.5 acres. So there's different zones there, like 3 different zones there. So then they shut us down, came in there with the building department, and just shut a business down was going for 8 years. And that's where the funding stopped there. So then we were still going through our litigation with the lawsuit. We were running into $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 with litigation. And the attorney just said to us, said, let's just settle it because we'll win the case, but do you really win? Because the city wants this building done and it's just going to be more of an issue. So that's where we stand there. It's just that, you know, are we happy the building's sitting there? But another thing too is when the inspectors came in and Joe came in, he wasn't there, but they said we had the fencing all in there, all the fencing that was required for that building. Then when they came in there, said, I want a fence all the way around it. I had to go out and spend $18,000. If you see the building now, there's fencing all the way around the whole thing. So that was a requirement. And we went out there and we lived good on the fencing. Now there is some fencing that's kind of just floating fencing, but it's not the main fencing around the building. And if there's some debris over there, I was just there a few days ago. There was some metal on the ground, but it was because they left some steel over there. Nothing's blowing off. There is some stuff that they had when they put the elevator in, one of the high-lows or whatever, they hit the thing there. But as far as that being a big issue, and we have a resolution to this, but so my investors in that, if we tear the building down and start over, it's not really worthy to them. So what they did is they took that building that square footage there, they created it to make it work for that location. So you've got already a detention pond in there, and we can look this up because we had outside inspectors before Joe and the new building inspector. We had it, and we did pay for the permits. The permits were paid. $12,000 were paid. We paid the permits. We just got money refunded back to us and said, hey, you got to put a whole new plans in. But when you don't have funding after that because of the builder and you're in a lawsuit, it's hard to finish. So now we're out of the lawsuit. Now we have the means to finish it. And we do plan on going to planning commission to get approval.
I just want to make sure you're done before we ask you any questions.
I'm done, yeah.
So I guess I did hear you say that you had a solution, you have plans. Can you tell us what would be your solution? What are your plans that you?
So, I didn't bring the plans are to just finish the building, just to finish the location. That's the plans. But if you tear it down now, now you have a retaining pond that's $385,000 for put a retaining pond in. You got sewer systems that you put already in there. Now we're not connected to the city yet because the other old building that was there, that old gas station, needs to be tore down. So once you tear that down, and that does have to be demolished. We are demolishing that, the old one, keep the new one, and then you can tie in right after that. But there's been a lot of money spent in that building. There's a lot of money put into that building, and tear that steel down that's all up there and all the stuff there, when basically all it really needs is, and if you guys want, you guys can even order a construction engineer to come out there. I already have one. I already had one look at it. And listen, I don't even know the guy. They just came out there. And if you look at that report, it doesn't say, oh, everything's perfect on that report. It's telling you some issues to the report. But, and if we want to look it up, Joe and the inspector here was not there when the cement was poured. You guys had an outside, the City of Ypsilanti hired an outside company because we didn't have a building inspector at the time. And I think he did Ypsilanti Township, Ypsilanti, and he did Pittsfield. Forgot his name, but he did both of them. And he was out there every time. And we even put a trailer on the back because we were so busy. I pulled permits for that was another, and he was out there to do that. We never pulled we've never done anything without a permit. to put up there. And if we did put, I mean, maybe a signage, you know what I mean, get yelled at or whatever, put something, but nothing major.
And so I guess if you were to complete the building, what would be the time frame? What would you be looking at? When would it be done?
90 days. 90 days would be, with the planning commission, with everything being put in there in construction. Maybe quicker. Joe already said, hey, if you know, I mean, it's already there. It's not like, got to start from scratch. But I want it done just like you guys want it. I want it done too. I mean, you know.
Other Councilmember King?
Thanks for asking those questions. Those were absolutely two of my questions. What would be the time frame was really the most important one. Joe and the building inspector, they stood up here and they said the communication has not been there. So you're saying now, give me 90 more days and we can get it done. But in the past, it has been a problem with communication. And I know you're saying it has not been any issues with pulling permits, but that is what our staff just told us.
Yeah, so pulling the permits or anything, first of all, we didn't know what we were doing. We were in a lawsuit. We didn't, you know what I'm saying? They knew we were in a lawsuit. And all of a sudden, we had our license taken away from us. We had a state license, you know, a very prominent state license, and no violations, no nothing. Not even a violation with the city for 8 years. Never one problem at all until that building came up. Once that building wasn't completed, that everything just went haywire.
And so what would come of the building? You say give you 90 days and you all could be finished. What would that space then be?
That space there?
Yeah.
That's going to be, so what we have is we're going to present it to the city council is we are going to put one of the, half of it, a car wash, one of the new updated car washes and coming through. And we were going to have it for light trucks, not trucks like semis, but more like the Amazon trucks can come through, the vans. And we're going to have a store frontage to it. And I have a layout. I have a picture of it if you want to see it.
And the store frontage would be?
The store frontage would be, we were going to put in, we have Jersey Mike wants to go in there. There's a couple other restaurants inside it. The way we have it laid out, it all fits. And then we also want to have in the back of there for electric vehicles, because we know that's going to be demand come.
So it would be a different use than what the building was originally being constructed for.
Yeah, so what we said is, hey, what are we gonna do with this building? We're tearing it down, we're keeping it, what are we gonna do? What's the best thing we can do with this building? Because we already have $1 million in it. So this was the best outcome for that location. And if you guys know that location, it's a really nice location. And we want to make sure that's beautified coming in. And if you've seen the building that we were going to put up there before, it was gorgeous. Absolutely state of the art, one of the most beautiful buildings coming into our city. And with this car wash coming in, it's going to be it's going to be amazing. I mean, you'd have to if you see the new car washes coming in, trying to.
While you're looking for that, Councilmember King, you had one more question, you said?
So I kind of have comments. I'm surprised we didn't hear from anybody from the city. This building is one, I'm one of the council members for Ward 1. So this building, this makes my phone ring a lot.
Apologize.
People have said, and I agree with some of these things, this is a dangerous to the community in that area. And it's at the major gateway of the city. And people have also said it's an enormous eyesore. So these are the calls that we get, calls and emails about this building in particular, and mainly about the dangers for people walking in that area. You know, I don't know. So I just wanted to pull those things forward.
But and I appreciate it. I understand that because I know a lot of people live in that area too, and walk. We have a fence all the way around that building. We have it secured, so there's nobody going to get in there unless they have a fence. So, but I mean, it's the bottom line is, and I know what are we doing, how are we fixing it, and how fast can we get it done, and is it feasible? Here's, if I could show you the picture. This is what we have it at. This is the parcel we have. This is what it will be when it's all done.
Okay.
So this will be where they come in, this will be there, this is for the stores,
Mhm.
and this will be for the vacuums. And
Okay.
it'll look like, should have blew it up for you, but that's.
Is for that business and
Right for the front.
wash.
And in the back, there's parking in the back, but we wanted to put like 5 to 6, like the vehicle thing, because, that's it, I don't know.
Okay.
So I wanted to tell you too, if you've seen this too, is back in the day, this is where my builder, it's the problem we had with our builder, and Joe isn't aware of that. You see that V shape right there? That V shape right there?
This.
The empty space there?
Yep, he was
No.
going across that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, he
So
was
we owned all that.
trespassing on somebody else's
Yeah,
property.
but that V shape, my builder decided he wanted to come on Kramer Street or whatever. Pull on that road and run all over that.
If you have to, when you do talk, please make sure you stay at the
Yeah,
mic.
sorry.
Yeah.
So we didn't know,
They want to,
Yeah.
would like to see it.
oh, yes.
Numbers.
Good.
And then you said the back here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that was just a rough draft what to do. That isn't the final beautiful provision of it. So anyway, just to show you that V shape there, I'm sorry, go ahead if you.
You can finish.
Oh, no. So that V shape there, my builder ran over there causing all kinds of trouble doing that. I didn't know that wasn't our spot there. And all of a sudden he's running over there to put rock down there because there's another thing too, that was I guess, land problem back in the day. Had some issues with it. So we had to clean the soil, take it out or whatever like that. So we did all that. He would run over there. Well, anyway, put rock over there, upset Joe. I got Joe over here. That was the first time I met him. So we're fighting about it. And anyway, so I had to rip all that rock up. That took, and to get my license, I had to do that it took me a week to get all that done. I had 25 guys trying to pull all that out of there. I'm just saying that's what type of builder I was dealing with. That was type of a guy. He didn't think it out. He just,
Thank you. Councilmember Simmons?
Yeah, it's a couple of just quick things. One clarification. You had talked about permit, getting a permit for $12,000 for a year, but then I thought I heard you say also at some point that it was refunded. Was that referring to that?
So I guess where that comes in is maybe it was miscommunication with me and Joe, but what that came in is Joe was just getting back into back here, so we didn't really have much communication with Joe, maybe a month or two before, whatever like that. So I guess what happened, I guess we had to have to extend it, we had to have our permits in, so we did that. But Joe, for somehow, whatever he decided, I want, since it's been 2 years or whatever like that, you're gonna have to bring in all new prints, all new, redo it and bring it all back to me. Then you're gonna have to update with all your new codes, you know what I mean, and all that. So, but I did have that, and then we got stalled. We got stalled because of, with the builder.
Mhm. And then during that time, you were saying that the city knew that you were in the lawsuit, but was still trying to help things like move forward. And at that time, you were so from what it sounded like was just that it was kind of like we would get promises of certain things happening within a certain time frame, but then that wasn't moving.
Yeah,
That
so
was during the time of the lawsuit. So was it possible to say, hey, we're not going to be able to do anything until this is complete?
well, I'm not, yeah, well, the thing of it is that, so we're running a successful business, and then that building was sitting there without permits or whatever like that. But the step was a big step. So when you put plans in and do all the stuff and all that, it was a big step. So we turned in our application to the city, $5,000. We put $5,000 into the city for whatever the application is. Everything was fine. They took our money. We were fine, and we went and got an inspection on our building, and they needed to fix this. But after we were going to fix all that, they said, no, we're not going to approve your license till to start building on that building. So there's no means to, I couldn't fix that building, you know what I'm saying? If I didn't have revenue to keep going and settle that lawsuit. That was the whole thing. And you know that corner and what we've done there and our, hope, anyway, so that was just, it's just been a spiraling thing, not just with us, with Joe, with the city being frustrated. It's just been, to be honest with you, it's been a bad builder with, with, uh, a lawsuit.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you've gotten that situated or settled, but
Yeah, we got to settle.
just for clarity, so were you saying that you did get some refund from the city for some permits or no?
I never got a refund.
Okay.
Actually, Joe made me, that he took trees out of there because we cleaned the whole thing out there when we did, our whole area out there before we could build the building and all that. And on that little spot, I guess my builder took some trees out of there. Joe made me put the trees in there. That was 16,000 and a $10,000 bond. So
Mhm.
we did all that. I mean, it's just been a frustrating, this isn't big time business.
Yeah.
And we live in the city. You know what I'm saying? We're here, man. So it's like, I know everybody here.
I'm I I'm interested. Well, maybe ask my other question first, but when thinking about what the shift in building plans are now, with some of the issues that were named, for instance, around like things like the footings, whether the steel is like secured for usage, and that there are some concerns about that. How would you address some of those
I would
issues?
fix it. Well, first of all, I would just say, hey, let's get a, if that's the case. I mean, they haven't done it in a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm not this big builder. Let's get an expert out there again. It's been what, since 25. Let us tell us what the problem is, and we'll fix the problem because we're moving forward I mean, I hope we're going forward with the plans that we have to finish it, to make it look beautiful it's going to be a great thing for the city.
And then your expectation would be that you would go back through the process with the planning commission to have a new building plan and process
100% have
in
to.
place. And then going through this process, do you feel better versed on what the expectations and the permitting and the expectations around inspections would be?
Yeah, I don't know that I haven't talked to the engineer, not the engineer, but the the guy that drafts it up. But whatever the next city council, I mean, the next planning commission is going to be present. I mean, it's going to be sent in the plans.
hmm And then my last question, I think, is just, so you've talked about kind of a lot of the money that has been flowing to this project. What would you say has been the complete investment in this project, and how much would you say has already
My
come in?
personal money, like without paying the builder, was 750,000. That's what it cost us to clean that area. Nobody could have came in that area unless you paid that to have that area cleaned. Took 350 dump trucks out of there, cleaned it all up, bring in dirt, and had it soil sampled, soil tested, just before we could even build the building. I had to have all the tanks underneath there. They weren't in there, but I had to have all the soil sampled to make sure that there was no more, because it was a gas station back in the day. Had to make sure it was all tested. The city didn't fool around. They don't fool around either, but I'm saying the city didn't fool around. We had inspectors before that. They're outside inspectors. They made sure that everything was done. You can't go forward, and Joe told you can't go forward until you get to you. And, you know, me as a uh, uh, owner, I'm learning this process too. That's why we had these meetings. That's why we had the meeting with what we had to do. That we had the inspectors. We had all these meetings before anything got done.
And then how long ago has the lawsuit been completed?
It, I think it was November.
Okay. So then when Joe is saying that they've been trying to connect with you since then, kind of what would you say is the gap between
Well,
now?
there's always, there's communication, but I think that it's just, how many times can you go to Joe and say, I'm going to build it?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? They kind of knew my situation and, going through a lawsuit, you're not going to get investment money. It's just not going to do it. They don't want to be involved in that. Now that we don't need anything, uh, uh, I mean, the lawsuit don't tie it up. So now we're ready to go forward.
Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the property owner? Oh, Councilmember Phillips?
Yes, just if we were to extend it for 90 days, would that be
100%.
workable for you?
Yeah. And we'd be able to use the building and it'd be a beautiful site. And, you got to go through planning commission and have all the updates or whatever they want or but we would have that for them.
Okay, thank you.
You have the funding? That's my last question. You have the funding?
Yeah, we have a funding, especially for what we're doing. Yeah.
Councilmember Tucson?
And so you've shown us the draw up for the new plan for the
Yeah.
building. Could you just speak on like what the original plan for this building was?
That original plan was going to be a marijuana facility right next door. We were tearing the other one down and building that one.
Tearing down the already existing patient station right there.
Yeah. Yep.
To that new
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And then you have to come up with what's the next thing because we had our license taken away for the building not being completed. So, I mean,
Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, I said thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I heard him say thank you.
Thank you for
Okay.
being here. Sure,
Yeah.
I can appreciate that there's
sure. Thank you.
frustrations after putting
Yeah.
lots of money into this and then having to deal with the builder and a lawsuit. And there's a lot of talk in this session about permits, and so I just want to be clear about the permits. You had a state license from Lara for your facility, the patient station. You renewed your permit with the city for the same business, right? And so then you were not allowed to continue with that business. And which ran out first, the permit or the state license?
The city license.
So the city permit for your cannabis business ran out because of why?
Well, the reason why is because, you have to have the license and all that in before the first of the year. And it ends at the first of the year, whatever, but they prolong a little time, whatever, because of inspection. So I had my $5,000 and all my stuff done, everything done. And they came out and they inspected it. And usually every year they come in and they'll tell me you need this and this and this, and we fix it and move on.
Mhm.
Well, they didn't do that this time. They said, now, and it was a shocker to us, we kind of lost our heart, man. Like they come in and says, well, you got to fix this and this on the building, fine, but we're not going to approve it until you get this building going. And I'm like, I'm in a lawsuit. How am I getting the next building done? I said, and it doesn't even, it's not even affecting us sitting there. I know it needs to be done. I know we shouldn't leave it like that, but we at least operate, and no, you can't operate, and we're not approving your license. And then the state worked with me. They said, hey, we'll work with you. We'll work with you. We'll help. We'll go. And then all of a sudden, and it wasn't a surprise because Joe sent me many letters to assist the C's. I get that. And then all of a sudden, our good police force come in and said, Jamie, I don't know what we're doing here, but the building department says we got to shut you down. We're shutting you down. And that was day, I think it was April, what was the day we shut down.
Okay, so in that process, there is part of the cannabis ordinance that says if there's new building construction, then it's not, or it's left unoccupied. But that applies to businesses that have been running and discontinued running. So during this whole time, you've been in full operation at the old building.
Yep.
Okay. And so then you went to the state said, we'll work with you, we'll do this, but now you've lost the permit, the city permit for cannabis.
They never even took my permit away. They never took my license away. They just can't.
They didn't renew it.
But they let me, they go, what they call like a temporary, like hold on, just until you work with the city.
Sure.
Because most of the time people work it out and somehow it works out and then they just get it. But, Yeah, it didn't go any further with Joe, so it just, we lost it. So I mean, it wasn't,
Right. And so the provisions in the ordinance are that once
yeah.
this is a reduction in the number of permits. So once a permit is not renewed, it doesn't go back on to the books for.
We had really good litigation to fight it and all that stuff, but I'm already into $500,000 worth of attorney fees. Come on. And
Sure.
and the city's always been really good to me. I've never had a problem with anything. If they asked me for anything, I got it. If they needed something, I would do it.
And so permit's gone, license gone, you have to pivot as a business owner. You can't get those things back for that particular site.
And I probably could redo it, but I'm not. But you probably, and I don't know how the license is. I don't know how I don't know how the licenses are at 13, 12. I don't know
Sure.
I don't know how that works.
So you're pivoting. You know,
Right,
there was mention of a 90 days that you'd have it done in 90 days. And it's like, I work with the planning commission and that's not a reasonable time frame for that. You know, it just getting, so what you've
Yeah.
got on your phone is a rendering. And do you have site plans ready to go? You said ready for the next.
Said within 30 days site plans, but then you got, there's a bunch of, once you submit it to planning, you know how that goes. They're going to come back with 15 things. You got to, you know what I mean?
Right. So I'm just thinking about the time frame. So the next meeting is April 15th for the planning commission. And so if you were going to get those for that meeting, then they would deliberate on that and they would come back with findings and
Right.
conditions for that. So I don't see this moving through planning commission in less than 90 days. And so I'm guessing that it's not going to be April 15th that you get it there. So we're talking about May 15th. And then if there's findings, then it's going to be June 15th. And then we're talking middle of the summer before any of this stuff starts.
Yeah, I don't know when. Yeah, you're right about that. It's going to, so we already have the building up. We have the frame up. You know what I'm saying? We have the retention pond up.
So you're going to use that structure for a car wash. So
Right,
that's what
yeah.
you've got on there. Okay. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
So we got lucky with that building because it's a tall building, you know what I'm saying? And the way it's situated, the way they worked it around there, it's just gonna work out perfect. Actually, the way the road's coming in, it's perfect. It's a 5 out of a 5 rated. But since we have all that stuff already there, now if we tore it down and had to start off square one and then do all that and then reorder steel and redo this and reorder that, I mean, you're talking a while. You're talking that land's gonna sit there for a while just because, and I was just saying, what's the best thing we could do? For that. And
So I've thought long and hard about alternative uses for that structure for quite some time.
yeah,
It's been there and doing that. And so I'm looking at this document that you gave us from February 19th, over a year ago, 2025. And the findings here are not positive. They are basically, there were things done and you say this is because of your builder. And I don't know about that. I mean, because it sounds like from this engineering review here,
if you look on the back of it, it says that I mean,
no, I read the whole thing. So the point being that
Yeah.
this cites a number of deficiencies and a number of deviations from code
yeah,
that would have to be
for sure.
remediated before.
And I wouldn't want to build it unless it was done right. You know what I mean?
Right, but so this is now a year out of date and it's only gotten worse. And so the pictures that we've got in our packet show that there's footings that are problematic, the rebar is bent over, all those descriptions are in the pictures in our packet. And so the question is, on a certain level, is it worth even going about that? Because you're dealing with footings. So everything above that is relying on that. If you have to go back and redo the footings, redo all the attachments of the steel and all that, is it just cheaper to start over?
I don't know if well, then I'm going to say the city, they approved me from them footings. They were out there. They seen it. The inspector was there looking at the footings.
But how long ago was that?
I don't know, 18, 19, whatever it was.
Right. So it's been a very long time. And so there's deterioration that's happened since then. So
You're saying the footings aren't the right footings.
well, there's some saying in both places that there are footings that are missing. And so if you're going to have to go back to a structure and redo all those deviations
Yeah, no footings are.
and non-compliances, at some point, it's
It's
just,
very expensive to put the footings in. If you have to take all that out, all that rat wall, all that stuff out of there and redo all that, oh yeah, it's very expensive.
right.
Very. If you have to update it and there's a footing here, this needs to be adjusted, yeah, of course, that'll be a little expense in there, but it isn't like nothing. And then you go to planning commission and you have the building there and you have the layout there and you have all the stuff there, it's a lot easier to approve something there than to re-go all of it and then you have to go, there's a lot more. I mean, and then you got a retention pond there. That's,
I'll give you that. So the retention pond and the sewer that you had to deal with, that's part of getting that building up and thing. I'm really curious about the statement you made regarding the old building is on part of the property for the new building, and that was part of the reason that the permit for the cannabis business was not renewed.
100%.
So
Yeah,
if that were the case, then you wouldn't have got a permit in the first place. I'm a little confused about how that all works.
Staff too, but I was hoping that we would wrap up with Mr. Nemeth and then we could go back to staff
Yeah.
questions.
So I just want to set real expectations. I
Yeah.
think the 90 days is not going to happen.
I didn't mean 90 days.
think that
I don't mean 90 days is going to be built all done, ready to go. I mean, but with the planning commission, with everything from my builder says if they work with planning commission, we could have it up in 8 months, 7 to 8 months completed. Just because the building's up there and everything's, because we could do it. If we even get into the colder weather, outside would be done and then inside you could work inside.
So you were saying 90 days for a city process?
So, yeah, taking the planning first, you know what I'm saying? Show them everything. Come back to you or whatever, our planning commission, get approval. And then you have to go a couple steps, like they want this, they want that, certain windows, they want that. So it's,
yeah, sure.
No, I'm really.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to get the storyline because we jumped around in all different places. And so, I wanted to clear up the issue with the cannabis licenses and that. You've settled the lawsuit so hopefully you got some money back out of that.
yeah. Well, that's another story too, but it's done.
There's an issue with the fencing, two different accounts of the fencing. You're saying there's fencing all the way around. Staff is saying that the fencing blows down all the time and people are
When they first,
access.
when they first came involved, Joe and the city inspector, that was one of his requirements. Can you give me that piece of paper and can you put a fence around there? Now, the other stuff, there's fencing around there. We put fencing around there, like it's just floating fencing, but we didn't have to put floating fencing there. We just put it there because we don't want cars coming in that way. And city council, our planning commission has told us, say, we don't want you using Kramer Street. We don't want you using that. Cut that stuff off. So we put a fence there. You can't use so it was just certain things, the demands that they requested that it was taken care of.
Yeah, and I was on council when all that went through.
Yeah.
That little wedge, and
Yeah.
I
I
appreciate.
believe that was,
frustration with
we're
that.
sitting city council and they said, hey, you guys are so busy. Why don't you give some business away to these other cannabis places? That was,
Who said this?
we had to come in because we were so busy. You know what I'm saying? We had to come in because we had to get special permission parking then back then because it was so busy.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just, and now it's closed.
Right. I'm good.
Councilman Fellows, I saw your hand.
Oh, I'll wait until
For
the
staff?
transition.
Okay. Any last questions for the property owner? Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Questions for staff? Start with you, Councilman Fellows, since you were.
Have anything?
All right, I don't know if you had a response.
I have a lot.
Yeah.
As far as the fence goes, he was cited at AHB on the 20th of March due to the condition of the fence around that place. I think anyone driving past that would say that fence is not in good working order. The reason that the building was padlocked was
Thank you.
the original building is because he never applied for his marijuana license for 2025. Basically having him operate without a license for several months. We begged him to get a license. He did not. And so essentially he was selling marijuana without a license for several months. After we tried citing, we tried asking, we tried begging, nothing happened. Just to give you an idea of the timeline, this property was, this project permit was pulled in 2017. So it took from 2017 to 2022 to actually pull a building permit. He kept asking for extensions, kept asking for extensions. And then by 2024, 2023, late 2023, early 2024, all work had stopped. That was well before the lawsuit. And so we know that there's a lot of stories. We've seen a lot of things when you're dealing with automotive use. It's far different than a two-story building use. There's stacking requirements when it comes to the site plan. If that is the case of him wanting to do a auto wash at entrance to our city, there will be far more requirements. And so this is not a simple thing. It's at least 90 days to get through the planning and engineering process. That's if things happen quickly. And speaking on this record, it'll be 5 years from that if he got approval from the planning commission for it to get done.
Thank you. Anything before I move to questions from guys? Anything else?
I can answer any question.
Okay, Councilmember Fellows.
I don't know. I mean, I think more I was, what would it take to get the existing structure like safe up to like safety codes?
We would need to have a lot of structural engineers to certify the concrete work that was in and the footings that went in. We have seen the letter that he sent you. It did indicate that screws were incorrect and footings were not correct. And there was so many issues. We do regular building inspections, and we did during the footings time. That is not the same as the special inspector, which was required and put on the plans that the applicant speaking of. And so they committed to do the independent inspector, which they never did. So I don't know how we could actually make this building safe without substantial work to be done on the engineering side, which I have no idea what that would cost.
There's not many special inspector companies that would certify this building after the fact, because their inspectors are there daily, unless they actually add one that did these inspections. They're there daily. They do a test of the concrete strength as it's being poured. They do a strength test the next day. They do a strength test 7 days later. They do a strength test 30 days later of the concrete to make sure the strength of the concrete is going to hold the building. Especially important of the footings of the elevator shafts, things like that, of the footings of the, support beams. Typically, special inspector companies aren't going to certify those inspections when they did not perform them. Typically, an engineer will not sign off on those when they did not have someone perform those inspections. Unless they had a company do them, which we have asked for that name of the company from the owner. He has not provided that name of the company in the last 2 years. So I would be to believe a company did not perform any special inspections.
Is that you right now? Councilmember Simmons, did I see?
Yes. Well, I feel like that we'll have two questions. One is, I was going to ask just what you were saying, which is, would the company who did all of this inspecting that you say be able to certify that work? I'm sorry.
If you're gonna respond, I guess come to the mic, please. But were you talking to staff?
Well, I was asking him because he's saying the staff is saying that they asked, and which I understand. So if staff is saying that they've asked and they haven't gotten it, but you're saying, oh, well, there were definitely inspectors. So
There were, and when so we were all out there, we're excited for the building and that, and I'm saying, what are you putting the footing? So there was a company out there, I have to get to the name, and they were out there pouring these in like a brick or whatever, and they couldn't go forward until they So I have all that. They didn't just go out there and just pour cement and
Okay.
do what they.
Well, is there a reason that you weren't able to provide that to?
I was thought that was already provided to the city back in the day when it was done, because their inspector, your inspector, whatever was paid by the city, was out there also with that other company, and he got the report, and that's when he said, okay, go forward, go forward. You know what I'm saying? So they were out there. I forgot. The guy,
Okay.
he did ours and Pittsfield. So that was done. They didn't, nobody just poured anything and didn't do testing and you know, even how much my builders, you know, he's built many buildings. He wouldn't go with, and I wouldn't let, you know what I'm saying? There's,
Okay, so that's helpful. And then my second question, and this is, I don't know, this is maybe in a different vein, but is there a way, so, you know, that is quite a lot of steel, and I think about materials, and I think about to take it down, is it going to just get taken down and then that becomes trash? Is there a way to take it down that then it can be used?
Yes.
I don't
I mean,
see
just
any
wanna-
contractor just throwing away that steel.
Mhm.
It could be reused.
It could be
So, yeah.
or melted down into new steel.
Okay.
Further questions from council?
Well, okay, I'm sorry. So with the lack of documentation for the footings being poured, tested from the special inspector, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that this building would not be able to even be utilized without those documents. So, okay, thank you.
And just to be clear, we have asked in writing through lawyers, through our lawyer, dozens of times for the special inspection reports to Mr. Nemeth, to his builder, to his engineer, to his architect, and no one can provide them. The only thing we've ever gotten is the letter you received today indicating that there are deficiencies. There's been a long, lengthy track record of us getting overpromised something, under-delivered, not delivered, and nothing happening.
Councilmember Fellows?
Just, I guess it's more of a comment. It's just like, it is really difficult to kind of see, you know, if this was a project that didn't have anything erected, then it'd be much easier to kind of just push through and say, well, it's nothing has started. But since there's this whole steel frame, it just makes it difficult. I know we're basically evaluating it based on safety. But the fact that there is so much material and so much resources poured into this, and then it just makes the decision very difficult and honestly unclear. And I understand why there's been efforts to try to work with the owner with this present situation. And honestly, I don't know if I even feel that confident about making a decision about this tonight, but it's just a very complicated matter.
Any comments from council or question, Councilmember King?
I would just say, Councilmember Fellows, just with that being said, and thinking about it as a dangerous building, and even seeing the site, seeing even just the pictures, again, how important is safety? That's what I would say.
Anything else from council?
Can the motion be reread before we vote?
Yes, I'll read it.
Oh, you have it?
I got it pulled
Oh,
up.
okay. Oh, he has it pulled up, okay.
Can I follow up one question before you guys vote?
We gave you your opportunity.
I just want to rebut it.
You want to rebuttal something that staff said?
Yeah.
You have 30 seconds.
If that's the case of the footings, that's not there, we don't have the paperwork, the builder does have the paperwork. And we can also research to who was the building inspector at the time, I forgot his name, he was there too. So he's no longer with our city here, but he would have that paperwork. And where did he put it? Because I've asked them for it, and they don't have any paperwork because they don't have nothing from back then until when they came in. But we did provide that, and we did have it done, and we did pay for the permits for him to come out there and inspect that from the city. And my thing of it is, if this is such a big thing why am I hearing about the footings now? I mean, we're talking, they've been out there many times, and they want to get building permits and stuff like that. Why didn't they just say to me, hey, you can't go forward with it because it's just, I'm hearing about it now. It just doesn't,
Thank you.
when I'm in a lawsuit, I could bring that up to the thing, but it wasn't an issue because we have that.
Thank you.
Mayor Brown,
Yes,
excuse
okay,
me.
Yes.
So with that being said, I wanted to ask prior, just quickly, can our attorney speak to that? Because he's saying on public record that this is his first time hearing about that. Our staff already spoke to that, but I'm asking our attorney, can he speak to that response real quick before we vote?
I mean, with limitations, it was approximately a year ago where we had a meeting with the city manager in his office, along with the owners and their council. And this footings issue was not news to them at the time we met with them. At the time we met with them, we made it clear that this was going down the path of dangerous buildings, perhaps more likely down the path of seeking an order of demolition from the circuit court while this lawsuit was pending. And this lawsuit was pending. It was a construction lien foreclosure action. So it's because this builder was not being paid for the work that they had done on this property. And there was allegations and actually a judgment entered establishing that approximately $1.1 million in checks paid to this builder were bounced. So, and that's what the October, I think it's October 20 something or other 2025 judgment confirms. And so at that meeting, we were promised, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll get this thing, whatever they wanted to put up at that time to the planning commission. That date came and went. Oh, we need more time to do this. That date came and went. And so, to Joe's point, or Mr. Myers' point, it was I was really new to the fray, obviously, only being in this role for, I think, 4 or 5 months at the time. And I was seeing a lot of overpromising and no deliver. It's not even under deliver, it's no delivery. Dates came and went. But the only consultation I was able to get was with Metro Constructions Council. The last conversation I had with anybody associated with Metro Construction and with 539 and Mr. Kelly was yet another attorney representing this property owner at the time. I sent a detailed email to them on 11/14/2025, in which I pointed out the dangerous conditions at the property, the fencing, which is actually owned by the builder. And the fencing couldn't be fixed because the owner wouldn't let the builder out there to fix it. Or at least that was the representation made to me during that phone call. And so, this is an area where the patients, despite the irony of the name of the property, the patience was extremely tested and is beyond lacking with staff. And at this point, there is no evidence whatsoever that has been put to me, and thus it's going to be explained to a court if necessary, to demonstrate this property is salvageable, or this building is salvageable, because these special interim inspections, which were the responsibility of the property owner to produce, were not performed and or produced. And at the end of the day, it's not, we think it ended up with the city, or we think it ended up with that other city inspector. It's their property owner, and they're trying to construct this improvement. Stands to reason they would have this material ready to give to us even today. But certainly last year when I specifically asked for it and didn't get it.
Thank you, Attorney Barker. Excuse me? Okay. All right. And we were about to have the motion reread. Okay.
So resolution number 2026 just reread the motion. By the Council of the City of Ypsilanti that the Ypsilanti City Council hereby approves the hearing officer's order. Council further resolves that the order must be complied with within 60 days. So move.
You already moved it. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just rereading the motion. If there's no further discussion, we'll move to vote. All right, Clerk Rougeau?
Councilmember Fellows,
Approve the building inspectors.
Yep.
Okay, yes.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Simmons, Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, you have the 080.
I do. Resolution 2026-080 regarding the property located at 558 Madison Street, tax ID 11-11-37-126-007, whereas council has received the report of findings and order of the hearing officer, and whereas council has had an opportunity to hear testimony and evidence offered, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Ypsilanti that the Ypsilanti City Council hereby approves the hearing officer's order. Council further resolves that the order must be complied with within 60 days, and I so move.
The move by Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen, supported by Councilmember Tucson. Hello again.
So, Mr. Dunn will be right back. He wanted to get a glass of water. But 558 Madison is a property that has been completely gutted since 2022 when a stop work order was issued for work without a permit. There's been no active building or trade permits on the property. The west soffit and fascia material is missing, allowing rain, snow, and animals to enter and damage the structure. The exterior walls, rim boards, OSB, and studs show sign of rot and deterioration, not being properly protected due to weather. So there's several pictures showing the issues on this property. Once again, this is somebody, well, not once again. Somebody started work, got caught doing work without a permit, and stopped.
And then do we know if is the property owner here?
Mr. Powell is on Zoom.
So, okay.
So I just went over everything, so I don't, do you have any questions
okay.
at this point?
Council, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, it looked like in the, if I'm recalling correctly, I'm still scrolling back to this one. That the notice was not, the thing that we saw was not signed for. So in the, on page 50 of 136, Linwood Powell, a certified letter was not signed for. So
what we do with all of these is we send a letter to the property, a letter to the property respondent on Avondale, and then we also post the building. We duct tape the notice to the front of the building.
And so when, can I continue questions?
Yeah.
So when was it clear that Mr. Powell had received this? Because this document doesn't show that. So
If people do not respond to either of those three things, then we assume that they either have it or they have, how does that?
So I believe that would be more of a question for probably the city attorney, but proper service is certified mail, posting on the house, which we do both on these matters. So we post it on the house, we take a picture of the posting on the house and add that to the file. So if they don't sign for by certified mail, they did get served by posting it on the house.
So this is relevant to one of the other properties too, because that was also not signed for. And so is there a follow-up call? Is there what, I'm just looking for when did Mr. Powell respond to this and a timeline for that? Because if they didn't respond to certified mail and they didn't go to the property and see it, then, you know, for my clarification, it's like, when did, obviously it's on here, so, but didn't appear at the hearing. So that's kind of confusing as to, you know, it's just like, did they not come to the hearing because they didn't get it? You know, I don't want to assume that somebody got a certified letter and received it, didn't sign for it, whatever, you know, it's just like, but how do we guarantee that people actually had the time frame to respond and go to the hearing that we're now appealing?
Oh, you're looking at me.
Yeah.
This happens a lot. essentially the multiple methods of service are designed to give reasonable and constructive notice to the property owner of action being taken. No different than, if you post an eviction notice on a door. So it's designed to, especially when it's quite common that someone's not going to sign for a certified mailing because they don't know what's coming or they're afraid of what's coming for whatever purpose. So they avoid or they stick their head in the ground. And so the posting on the property is another measure that is addressed to the property owner who theoretically should be minding their ship, keeping track of their property, and noticing that something was on the door. And I've seen situations, and I think it might have happened with another property here, that this was posted, and then the property owner will just rip it all off the wall or off the door and then say, I didn't get the notice.
Yes, I've seen that before. And
so this happens a lot. And so these multiple methods of trying to interact with the property owner is what's are reasonable steps that are taken. Even if there's alternate service in a court proceeding, for example, it's what is reasonably calculated to put the property owner on notice of a matter pending. And the other thing too is every single one of these hearings is on a public notice, and how the Dangerous Buildings Bureau is publicly noticed, and this proceeding is publicly noticed. So people are on constructive notice, if not direct notice, of what's affecting their or potentially affecting their property. So that's why they go through all of these different procedures and service.
There's no legal requirement for follow-up phone calls, anything like that. If it gets delivered and it's not signed for, it's still delivered.
Big Blunt City's job is not to babysit a property owner.
In most cases, we also don't have
Right. Okay.
How about what? I didn't hear you.
a phone number.
Oh,
In some cases, not all. We do have a lot of phone numbers and we work to get them. And it's on the property transfer affidavit form. Hope that we get them, but especially with properties that have been owned for a while. You're not required to give a phone number on the property transfer affidavit.
So these being a little bit more important type cases, we do take the extra step of doing the posting on the door.
They also get sent just first class mail. Correct. So we do
So
a
that
certified
means-
in first class because so then they get the notice
Ah.
regardless. But we want them to sign for it.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions for staff right now? Okay.
Mr. Powell?
Powell is online.
Yes, he is. Mr. Powell, you can speak.
Hello.
Good evening, Heather. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. For the record, I did sign for the certified mail. That's how I noticed that the notice was given to me. So I actually have the certified mail notice here in my possession, and I can read off any information as far as the tracking number. So that's not true. Also, the property doesn't have any animals in there. I've been past it several times. I put a new roof on there, a new soffit, new facial board. So that's also not true. There's no animals in there, nor have any animals been in there. I had demoed the inside of the property. I had a contractor that was supposed to finish the work, but obviously they couldn't pull the permits, and I had somebody else pull permits that wasn't able to do the work. So it's been a process as far as, trying to get this done. I'm actually on another property in the township that I don't have to pull permits for, and I'm just now finalizing that, and it's on the market to be sold. So with that, with those monies, I will be finishing this property up. But as far as overall, I am, in the process of, trying to complete the project, as well as, I did get this notice. I've gotten a couple other notices, some fines that has been occurred on the property. So I do know that it's been a process, but I'm just listening back to the other case, and they didn't have since 2018. I just acquired this property in 2022, so it hasn't even been a total of 4 years, and I'm getting a demolition notice. So that's odd that is so soon, considering that other property has been almost 8 years. But with that being said, um, I have communicated with I think I don't know if my name was Andrew. We had some emails going back and forth. I didn't pay some permits that, like I said, weren't able to get pulled, and this is just a difficult process with the city. In my, with my knowledge that I have with properties and stuff like that. So again, that's for my lack of knowledge. I'll take full responsibility for that. But moving forward, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm able to still acquire my property and move forward. I know I need a nice amount of time, maybe 6 months or better. By the end of the summer, I should be able to have this project complete. But it's not a 2-bedroom apartment, one bath, 600 and some square feet. It's real minor. It's not a lot of work that needs to be done besides the electrical and the plumbing, and then from there, some drywall need to be put up. But the structural of it is it's a great structure. No rot, no mold. So whatever pictures you have, there's no damage to the actual framing of the house.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Mhm.
I guess for my question would be, can you just talk to us about how we got here? Like,
I think I'm sorry.
you said something?
Yeah, no, you was asking me how we got here. I thought that was
Yeah,
one of
like
your
when did
questions.
progress on the home stop?
This stopped a couple of years ago, again, because I had to pay some contractors a substantial amount of money, and I thought that they were gonna do their part, pull the permits, do everything, and I got burnt with that. And I'm also in the process. Well, I was in the process of fixing up another property, like I said, in the township of Ypsilanti, that's on the market now. So I was just juggling too much at one time, trying to spread money out, and like I said, I gotta put a new roof on it, pay for the demolition, pay for the property to be drywalled and electrical and plumbing, but that person couldn't pull the permit. So like I said, I got burnt, spent about $15,000 with someone that wasn't able to complete the job. So again, that's my fault, but I think it was just I had too much on my plate.
Thank you. Other questions from council?
I would ask some of the same questions we asked of the last owner. And one is, how long would it take for you to get back on track to getting this property up to code?
Again, like I think for me, just being realistic, I'm saying like 6 months throughout, by the end of the summer. Um, I'm really, really just waiting on my other property to get sold so I can get the funds from that, dump over here. I'm just playing a back and forth game. But besides, if that property isn't sold within 6 months, which I highly think it will be, um, I'll be in a position to at least get a contract over there to start pulling the permits to do the electrical and the plumbing, and that's the beginning phase of the construction.
That was your only question?
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions from council? Mayor Pro Tem?
It indicates here that you failed to appear at the hearing for the dangerous buildings, and I was just wondering if you could comment on that.
So I know, I believe, I don't know for sure if it was a hearing that was held in like November. I had seen some paperwork on the door. I had missed that. I had missed that date, and then again, I did get the notice for this one through certified mail. I signed for it myself personally, so that's how I knew that this hearing was today. If not, I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have had no notice. So the certified mail aspect of it was perfect. I got that. I'm here.
But you didn't get the certified mail for the hearing.
No, this is the hearing, correct? Like,
No, there was a hearing with the dangerous buildings. This is the appeal.
Oh, okay. No. Whatever it was that was placed on the door, I hadn't received. I didn't. It was past the date in which when I went over to the property and seen the notice on the door. So I had missed that, and I thought that this was like the first of, the the demolition or, dangerous building process.
Yeah.
Further questions from council? Councilmember Simmons?
This is just for just clarifying, I guess, the steps, like the order of operations. So just to think about, again, what it would take for this to no longer be considered a dangerous building. So what are some of the needs that need to happen now? And then what, so it sounds like there's like the waiting for another property to sell, but in between now and then, what are things that can be happening? And what would it take for this building, even if it's not complete, but to no longer be considered a dangerous building? So,
Well, to my recollection, the first thing, the first deal of order is to get the electrical and the plumbing completed. So like that was my main issue. So that's what I'm, moving forward. That'd be the first order of business to get the electrical and the plumbing done with us, from someone that can pull the permits through the city. And then from there, everything else is pretty much easily completed with, like I said, just it's a small property. Put some drywall up, put some, sink in there, tub, toilet.
and then for staff, yeah. Yeah, so what would you consider would need to be done in order for this to no longer be considered a dangerous building?
The house is completely gutted. It has no electrical in it, no plumbing, no mechanical in it.
So you would agree, like what he's saying, the first things that need
You
to
don't-
happen is the
You
electrical.
almost have to complete the project in order for it to be not to be to be safe. Because it's a completely has no insulation, no drywall. It's a completely gutted
That also
house.
is unsecured, so rodents are able to get in.
So
It's not protected to the elements.
Yeah, especially like the soffit on the one side, so you can, animals get in. Like the one time I was there, a bird flew out. So it's not, you don't, for it to be considered safe, it has to be able to be, has to be able to live in it. This one, because it's completely gutted, it would need a certificate of occupancy. In order for that to happen, it has to be almost completed.
So like with like the photos of the exterior, I'm looking at, I know they're numbered, so you won't know which one I'm looking at, but they are, like around one of these, I think this is the back door. I don't know if it's the front door, but it looks like the siding is not complete around what is that called? Yeah, the entry door.
Door frame.
The door frame, like things like that. I guess
you could get temporary occupancy so you could move in with,
I guess, yeah, adding on to Councilmember Simmons' question, are there like steps in the process that could allow that to happen? Or you're basically saying unless this is certificate of occupancy ready, then this will still be a dangerous building until all the electrical
you
water
can
and
get
the
like
rest
a
of that.
temporary certificate. You can get a temporary certificate.
So we had some permits pulled, so we stopped the work because it was being done without a permit. We had some permits pulled in 2023. They never actually were approved because they were not complete. And so the roof work he claims to have done was done without a permit. They started that process, but once again, it did not come to completion because we did a walkthrough to see what inspections would need to be had and what information we needed, and then we just never got any of that information.
Councilmember Simmons, I'm sorry, I jumped in on your question, so I don't know if you had more.
No, I mean, it sounds like, because I was just trying to get a sense of, yeah, what the steps would be, what things could happen. So one, it sounds like securing the space would need to happen just from rodents and other of our beautiful animal lives. But that would be something that could happen. But then the other things would be being able to get to the point where you can have permits for the electrical and plumbing, which would require obviously certain plans to be done, that could with from a certified professional kind of thing.
This is residential house, so this won't require any stamped drawings
Mm-hmm.
type thing if it's done.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like he's doing it to be flip the house to sell. So as long as he has a licensed builder, you wouldn't have to have stamped drawings for it, but we need some type of drawing. They'd have to have licensed trade contractors, so licensed electrician. You wouldn't be able to pull homeowners permits because it's saying be a house being sold.
So then, I have a question for Mr. Powell then, which is, have you already identified some contractors to be able to do this work? The plumbing and the electrical, how prepared are you for getting that process started?
Yes, I actually have acquired a contractor that's going to be able to pull the permits and move forward with the for sure only the whole project, but for sure they're going to be able to move forward with the electrical and the plumbing. I actually have materials in the house and drywall. I got siding over there. I got furnace, and I got some other things to move forward with the project. Hot water tank, things like that. It's like I said, it's just I got put in a bad situation, so I'm ready to move forward with the contractor that I do have on standby. Again, I can get the permits and things like that pulled just within hopefully a month or so. Because I actually, I mean, it's actually got someone that's going to do it. They were out of the country, so now that they're back, so they'll be able to come down and pull the permits and move forward with the project.
One quick question I have is if we did give more time on this property, right now the property is considered a dangerous building. What are the fees associated with that per month, or what are the fees associated that would go to the owner?
There's a $300 inspection fee per month and a $300 escrow fee per month.
Yeah,
You say escrow fee for?
Yeah, so when you have a dangerous building, you have to put $300 a month into escrow. And then when the building gets a certificate of compliance, the money is removed from escrow. And so essentially it helps the city build up a fund to demolish a building or make it safe at that when and if somebody stops doing work.
And you're saying, and then if the project is completed, then the money that was in escrow is returned back.
But the inspection fees are not.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand that too. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And so then our resolution says that whatever decision that was made would be complied with within 60 days. That's 60 days for the property owner or for what we execute here with staff. So for instance, if we were to modify this, would they have 60 days or 30 days? I'm earlier in the meeting, I heard something about 30 days.
If it says 60 days, it's 60 days.
Okay.
Sorry, there's a lot of time frames.
Yeah. Okay.
We could also modify it too.
It just can't be less, right? Just can't be less, but you could give more. Okay.
I guess just one follow-up question. If we did do that and say the first month the owner defaults on that $600 payment, then what?
I don't believe that they have, and I can check real quick. I don't believe they paid their current dangerous building fees at this point.
No, I haven't.
And how long has it been in a dangerous building status?
December.
Okay.
And so I'm just,
$2,400.
so following, just as you're saying this, does this mean that in order even to kind of move forward, that those previous arrears would need to be made current? Is that
just a choice that we have to make?
Yeah. Well, like, would that have to be in order to move forward, or would it be more like like what we would determine now moving forward?
It appears that this owner owes $1,485 currently to the city.
How much?
$1,485 in enforcement fees and a permit fee.
So does that include like the escrow you were talking
Yeah.
about? And okay.
So that includes the escrow, you saying?
Correct.
So then, Mr. Powell, with that amount, would that be something that you would be able to be current on?
Yeah, I definitely will get current on it prior to moving forward with the construction.
Just the number of times that the word modified has been put forward by multiple people. I have been considering this, and I had considered this before, upon review of the thing tonight. So, I would be willing to change this, from approves hearing officers orders, and I'm asking my second over there, to modify to, give Mr. Powell 30 days to become current with the current debt of $1,485 in enforcement fees, and to have all of the required permits pulled within the 60-day period stated here.
Is that okay to have a separate time? I'm
Yeah.
asking for like the legality part, because I thought I could
I think they-
extend the time.
I think you guys can give what you feel is appropriate. I think that this is where not having this for a while, we're gonna become, hopefully not pros, but at least semi-proficient at the end of this meeting. But I think that you could say this has to be paid, and then you have 60 days to get permits. I mean, this was the part of going through he's here anymore, our dangerous buildings officer, was to try to set limits. I know, one person's in the crowd right now who actually went through that process and got their permits, and we're still working with regularly. And so, and I hope they're having I hope they had a good time, or at least,
They left.
at least not unless, I mean, I think they understand we are reasonable. We do want to work with you. We don't want to sit here and tear down buildings, but we do have dangerous buildings. We do have a problem with houses that are unkept. We did have to cut this property's grass last summer because the owner wasn't maintaining it. It is just something, we want our property owners to be not vacant.
Mhm.
So another question. I want to take that back. Because I don't want to specify that amount, because there's probably going to be another charge for the additional month that it would take to get there, right? So, so that by the end of 30 days from today, the owner has to be current with all charges regarding this house.
It will be an extra $600.
Right. And then 60 days. And so is it possible to put in here that at this time, that if those two things are not satisfied within 60 days, then automatically we go to the hearing officer's order? We don't have to have it come back.
I understand this process correctly. It's just from a status. You come back and you establish that there has been.
That's fine. So I move to amend the resolution to modify the hearing officer's order as follows. That within 30 days of today, the owner is current with all fees associated with the property, and that by the end of 60 days, all the required permits that have been pulled, and that the building is secured from entry. In the meantime,
Do you want to put anything in there about starting the work?
Mhm.
That would be helpful for us.
let me think about that. Mr. Powell wasn't quite clear on when he'd be able to start the work. I figured that work can't start until he gets the permits anyway, right?
Correct.
And so is 60 days a reasonable amount of time to secure the property, pay the debt, and pull the permits? He's gonna have to get his contractor to come pull the permits, or come pull them himself. And I want to make that clear, that ultimately it's not the contractor's responsibility, but the owner's. To pull.
We would typically give 30 days for that in our office, but I understand what you're doing. Like,
Yeah, because he has signed a contract.
yeah, so 60 days is very reasonable.
Okay, all right.
So is that the
Mhm.
motion,
That-
please?
all right, so.
We get the building actually secured within the 30-day period. That would be actually extremely helpful.
Right, and that's the biggest point, right? So resolved by the council of the city of Ypsilanti that the city, Ypsilanti City Council hereby modifies the hearing officer's order as follows: that the building will be secured within 15 days from today, that within 30 days, the debt to the city will be, resolved, and all payments will be current, and that within 60 days, all permits, will have been pulled and approved, and work is to be started.
This is an amendment. You support for the
Support.
Okay. So discussion on the amendment.
So you said 15 days to secure the building, and by secure the building, that means making it so I just want to be specific, because I'm like, like there's a hole on the side of my house, and mice can come in, but I'm just I'm just trying to think.
List of things that
I'm like, is it just that?
means
Yeah, because
secure,
I know that there was the soffits, and like you were saying, okay, bird, like the places where you can see, like, so, like saying like that has to be covered to be secured. It's not that the doors are unlocked, or like there's. I just want to be clear.
Soffit was all open on the west side.
Uh-huh.
of
And
the house.
so, yeah, so securing that space is what is.
Man,
So
so that's
I
what.
just wanna
So
be
that
clear.
is that what make it dangerous? I'm just asking. Is it the birds being able to get in?
It's one of the things.
it's one thing. But
Okay,
I guess that maybe that's the better question. Is
Like,
there a clear delineation of what a secure
yeah,
building would be, so that he would know? That would satisfy that requirement of it being secured, because that is broad. I mean,
Secure building would be that where no animals or people can actually enter the structure. No animals, people, or water can enter.
no animals, people, or water can enter the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
look, somebody could break in. What do you mean? I don't get that. Like, it's windows, it's doors, it's locked doors, it's windows. Like, when you say people, what do you mean?
I think it's like mainly like just
Under normal conditions, not
And like,
trying
yeah.
to-
Because like I said, like, my house, I guess, might not, like water get, whatever, but the visible nature, right, of the securing of the space so that known animals can't get in. And then you said 15 days for the, you said 30 days to be current with the fees as of that time, and then 60 days to pull permits
start work.
and
30
start
days,
work.
just honest, 30 days for the payment is going to be, because it's going to be in $2,400. I know I'm not going to be able to pay that within 30 days. I got, other obligations. I mean, I would say if it was 60 to 90 days, like 60 days would suffice everything. 60 days to secure, well, I can secure the spot. I can put some wood up tomorrow. And as far as the fees, like 60 days and 60 days to start to get the permits pulled.
Well, the motion on the floor is, as was restated, 15 days to secure the building, 30 days for the fees, and 60 days for permits and to commence work. Any other discussion from council before we vote on this amendment?
Yeah.
Councilmember King.
Just one more thing. He did just state that 30 days is not enough to get to do the financial obligation. Are you all willing to change it to 60 days for the financial obligation of $2,400, I think is what was stated?
wouldn't be opposed to it. I was being supportive, give them an extra 60 days.
Make it all 60 days, but that includes, well, I mean, well, 15 days for
It's a
Hearing
secure.
part.
hearing, but
Yeah.
the
And it's
debt and the permits,
start to work.
and not just pulling the permits, but permits and being approved.
Will be-
Because I'm understanding from the two of you standing there that that is a reasonable time period to pull permits, get them approved, and start
That's
working.
more than enough time, they said.
We would say 30 is typically what we would do.
Is there any requirement that the debt be current before they can pull permits?
Yes.
Okay. That's
So yeah, so it would have to
Yeah,
happen.
you can't pull permits if you have an outstanding.
Yeah.
So it would have to all be
Yeah.
current anyway.
15 days for secures, 60 days for everything else.
Friendly.
great.
Okay, so now we're voting on
Mhm.
15 days, 60 days for everything else. Any further discussion? Please call the roll on the amendment.
Councilmember Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean. Oh, sorry, absent. Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Fellows,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson.
Yes.
The amendment passes.
Okay, so that is that's the amended resolution because we had already
Hmm.
read the additional one into the record. Anything additional for this one before we vote on the amended resolution? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Tucson,
Yes.
Councilmember Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen.
Yes.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Fellows.
Yes.
The amended motion passes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Powell.
Thank you.
All
right,
right,
bye-bye.
Councilmember King, you have 081.
Oh,
Did I-
let's go. Regarding the property at 601 East Michigan Avenue, do I read the tax ID 11-11? Do I? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whereas council has reviewed the report of the findings and order of the hearing officer, and whereas council has had the opportunity to hear testimony and evidence offered, now therefore be resolved by the council of the city of Ypsilanti that the Ypsilanti City Council hereby approves the hearing officer's order, disapproves the hearing officer order, modifies the hearing officer's order as follows. Council further resolves that the order must be complied within 60 days. I so move.
So moved by Councilmember King, supported by Councilmember Tucson. We're gonna have to choose something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Councilmember King, I was actually incorrect. This building is not in Ward 1.
This one, what is that?
This is in Ward 3.
Ward-
Yeah,
oh,
it's Ward
okay.
3.
I was gonna say, but I just figured it.
It would come up eventually. Mhm.
So not all of them are in Ward 1.
Okay, they got one.
A lot of them are though. We will never dispute that. A lot of them are. This building is a fire damaged building. Obviously, the first picture kind of shows the interior. This has been on the dangerous buildings ordinance since 2018, our list, 2014. Thank you. This has been a huge problem. This is a weird one where they always pay all their fines, but they never fix it. They're not here today, I don't believe.
Correct.
And so obviously this is the old ice cream stand next to the gas station. We've had serious issues over many years. Also another gateway property in a sense. And it's bad. It's right when you're coming in from Michigan.
Oh, you mean, I
It was
see.
one of the gate, like it's not one of our coming in, or it's been
Yeah.
vacant for well before 2014. But it's got fire damage, it's got soffit damage, it's got issues. They don't maintain their property. We have, I think, over 100 enforcement actions on this property. Not just dangerous buildings wise.
All right. Well, Councilmember Tucson.
Yeah, so my question is, do we have like a date of when this building was last like fully utilized? I mean, you said fire damage,
I can go pull that, but it's been dangerous since 2014. Give me a second.
dangerous since 2014, because
The day was, that went on the day, or again, building was September 26th of 2014.
Dangerous buildings.
Yeah.
oh
And while you're, oh,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. if the mayor says? 'Cause okay, so while you're looking that up, I'm wondering, you said it's been on the dangerous building list since 2014. This one also stated they did not come to the first hearing, right? Have you heard from them? Okay.
But you said they always pay their fees.
They pay all of their fees and fines and taxes every year.
The neighboring property owned by the same company. Someone did come walk over from next door and said that they are in charge of that property and asked what was going on.
A gas station or?
Yeah,
Mm.
oil change, gas station.
Oh, right here.
And asked what was going on and told them. Oh, yeah, I'll pass along the information, but
Okay.
there's no plans for the property.
Member Simmons?
Yeah, so I guess I was gonna ask about that. I mean, it seems like in these they pay, like, do they communicate in general, like, about it? They just like take the check and leave us alone kind of thing.
Yep, we have I was actually incorrect. I said about 100, we're 106 enforcement actions. And so, it looks like we had a business occupancy in 1987.
No.
But I want to get, no. So I honestly, I mean, we're almost probably, I was born, but not in kindergarten yet when they got it.
Yeah, because
And so so they stay current, and so in this situation, just going off of what we started with in those earlier questions, which is that if it goes through, that it might get added and they might be more likely to pay it since they already like to pay their bills. I mean, I like a business owner that likes to pay their bills. But they might be able to then do something else with the building, with the property.
yeah,
I believe they also have signed their notice.
They did.
Mhm.
Yeah, they signed the receipt.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Fellows?
Yes, yeah. Has there been any emails or just nothing ever? So it's just hard to know what any intent or plan there is.
And it pretty much is. It's been like 40, 50 years.
and
I can never, I grew up here. I never remember getting ice cream there. So I don't know how long it's been
Park
closed.
has held a bunch of events in front of this.
People have used that parking lot
Yeah,
often for
yeah,
things.
and it's
Yeah.
been the same stuff inside.
Well, we know 1980 something you weren't.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
So,
I moved here in 90 and it.
yeah, I've never seen it open. You have another question?
Oh, really?
Anything else from council on this one? I feel like this is.
Open.
Okay, so maybe I should have read that one differently. Can I see it again, or do I
I
have
could
it?
amend it to now because you made the whole thing into the record.
Okay. So,
To choose the one.
so I would move to amend this resolution to resolve by the council of the city of Ypsilanti that Ypsilanti City Council hereby approves the hearing officer's order.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Probably not. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Fellows,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson,
Yes.
Councilmember Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
The amendment passes.
All right, thank you. Is there further discussion on this amended resolution? All right, please call the roll when you're ready.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Fellows,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson,
Yes.
Councilmember Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen.
Yes.
The amended motion carries.
All right, thank you so much. Councilmember Simmons, you have 082.
Whereas council has reviewed the report of findings and order of the hearing officer, and whereas council has had an opportunity to hear testimony and evidence offered, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the city of Ypsilanti that the Ypsilanti City Council hereby either approve, disapproves, or modifies the order. Council further resolves that the order must be completed within 60 days.
Moved by Councilmember Simmons, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen. Again, Jerry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're at 1032 Watling.
Yep, 1032 Watling. This is a house back in 2018 when the city was trying to do the dangerous building list that was sent a letter about being considered dangerous at that time. This house since 2014 has been boarded up in some type of fashion. And is currently has all the windows and doors boarded up on it. The roof is in extreme disrepair, causing water and structural damage to the building. The overhang on the east side of the house is falling off due to the water damage from the roof. The rear soffit and overhang has holes in it where you can see daylight through the roof. And portions of the roof is missing and the overhang on the rear. The front porch has structural damage, which is visual where the porch is sagging. Foundation damage on the porch. The rear roof porch is too damaged and rotten to even stand on. Siding is missing from multiple areas. We did not go inside due to the condition of the outside and the overwhelming likelihood of asbestos, lead, and other hazards. That's all we have on.
Any questions for Jerry? Is the owner,
Yes.
here? Okay. Anything for Jerry before we talk to the homeowner? Nope. Okay. Good evening. Hello.
Take your time.
This property is in the process of being sold. And I'm very close to closing. And it's being sold to somebody with the intent that they're going to repair it and for it to be used. So that's the only thing. I thought I'd have it done by today, but there were a few things that happened that. Okay, so that's all I can say about it. It's about to be sold.
When do you think it will?
Well,
completed?
I was hoping to have it done. The holdup right now is getting the information that has to go into the sales contract. So I'll have to come back to the assessor's office and get that. And my last contact with the buyer and my attorney was yesterday. So it's still on, as far as I know, and trying to get it done as quick as I can. That's all I can say about it.
Councilmember Simmons?
Hello. So I guess my question is just to understand like what the understanding and the funding that the buyer's coming in with to know whether we will have the property sold and then it could still sit under somebody else, if it's been since 2014. So I guess I don't know, this isn't like the best question for you, but I guess this is just like a consideration, which is how do we know that the selling of the property will lead to a better outcome for the property?
I really don't know. Only thing I know is this is a investment company, and this is what I've already met with the buyer. He looked at it, and we hashed it out and agreed to a selling price. And it's just a matter of the information getting, you know, lined up for it to be finalized.
Councilmember Fellows?
Do you can you share the name of the investment company and like if they made you an offer and you accepted and you're in contract?
Let's see, I have that information, but I don't have it on me.
I was gonna ask a similar question. I was gonna say, is the buyer present? I know no one's present. I don't know if they would be online or anything.
Don't think so.
Oh.
Councilmember Tucson?
And then, so you said the holdup right now is like the information that goes into the
Right, and at the description and all that.
right. So that it would be safe to say that the offer has been brought to you from the
Right.
investment company. You
Right.
accepted it, and it's just getting the paperwork.
Right. So
Person is?
we're at the process of finalizing it.
I guess one of my questions is just whether you're current with the fees on this property too.
What type of fees? Taxes paid?
Well, they were saying that there's fees for it being on the dangerous buildings list.
Okay, I haven't heard any. I haven't received anything.
So I guess this will be a question for staff then. Thank you. I want to.
Currently, there are $1,500 in fees owed on this property.
You said 1,500?
There will be more.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you've been here for all of the other ones, we're gonna make you pay it. No, but just to say, yeah, that'll. It's just, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure we're clear about what's happening as we move forward. So,
Yeah, I think we are, the two of us at least, I haven't heard from everybody else on the same page around. I mean, I would be open to modifying based on the fact that there's a purchase in play, but if that doesn't happen, and the fees
Yeah.
aren't paid,
I would still want to put a time,
time.
both for this, this process, and hope that the, sale goes through and it's successful for you and everything. But then also, I would also want to think about a time by which the new owner would need to do certain things so that it's not something that's sitting. And so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what we can require of in that way, but
Transfer of ownership does not negate the dangerous building condition.
yes. Uh-huh. It goes with the land so that it's not
The
like
structures.
yeah, the structure. And so so they would also probably know about this information anyway, because a lot of times with sales, if there's any lien or anything on the property, that would also come forward too, right? So that would probably be part of that process. Uh-huh. Okay.
Councilmember King?
And I would just say one of those amendments, I think, since he just said the owner is, the purchaser is aware, maybe we can give with him coming, I'm sorry, let me get my words together, with the buyer coming and just letting us know that he is buying. You know what I'm saying? With a confirmation is what I'm trying to say. Can we?
We can get letters. The property owner currently has our information. We can meet with the owner, talk about a plan. If you gave a timeline, like 60 days to work everything out, like is in the resolution, then we could work out a plan. And then at 60 days, if they don't do any of that, we're kind of back where we are with the other properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm just like trying to gather some of these amendment or this modification. So, because you're saying, because we could get like a letter of intent or something from the buyer to confirm this process, that we can get that even before, because sometimes closing takes a little, maybe this wouldn't be as much time, but.
I didn't see this ever listed on Zillow. We typically track the property listings in the city pretty closely in our office. And so this obviously is probably a private deal, which is a little different. There probably isn't a mortgage that's needed and things like that. So property taxes are current, but the fees for dangerous buildings.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I don't know if there's other things, but
And then you said, I'm sorry, you said that there will be on a current $1,500 in fees for the inspection and the dangerous building. You said there would be more fees coming, so would it be another $600?
Yeah.
So it'd be like 21.
It's $600 a month.
Also $2,100 in the future.
And then when they're not paid, there's also late fees that can accrue.
Oh,
The current, whatever.
bring the current, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what modification would make it so it wouldn't have to go through this process again with a new owner. If like, what can we put in there to say this dangerous buildings decision stands and
The dangerous building decision will stand.
yeah.
Now, depending on if we tear it down, there might have to be new notice given to the owner, but that's not gonna have to go through the same, it'll just they have to have notice, I believe. But we could also, I think if we make this decision now, that won't negate anything, but we'll make sure our lawyers and we will check the law and all of that. But I mean, the goal of these are not to tear them down. The goal is to actually get them renovated. And it sounds like there's a process already going through right now. I'm hoping the owner is still in, and but they will still have to pay the dangerous building fees every month until it's done.
Mhm. And then the other thing is, like, it sounds like this situation, like unlike the other one, because we had this whole thing around how many days before it could be secured, but since it's in the process of changing hands, that might be a little bit more difficult to figure out. And also, it sounds like there's a lot more areas where it's not secure from what Jerry.
No, this one's secured. The holes are like through the roof, like the overhang part of the roof. It's not into the house. It's like
Outside
out.
that's hanging, okay.
Okay, so that's not the
It's like
same.
falling off, missing, and
Okay, so it's not the same. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
it's not like into the house. It's just that
Alright.
overhang part's missing.
Okay. So then we could say 60 days. I don't, before I put it on there. 60 days for like a letter of intent of sale.
I was gonna say, or the buyer just being present if they come here. I don't know, just something, but go ahead.
I know, but we're not trying to have them. We're trying not to see them.
Yeah, they're not coming back here.
I don't know. That's I think.
They're not coming back here.
We want the paperwork. We want signed, sealed, delivered, right? So, so letter of intent of sale, then also current with fees, and and then also to work out, I'm like to meet with our building department to work out a plan within 60 days.
And the new owner, even when they haven't closed yet, can still work with our building department if they have permission of the current owner. So they could actually get that
Start
started
sooner.
right away,
Okay.
Mhm.
even if the official sale hasn't taken place. And we're not asking them to pull permits, but we're just asking.
Well, that's why, yeah, that's why I'm just making sure like I have what we're asking for really clear within this. So does that sound good? So that's how, so then I would move to amend to say 60 days for there to be a letter of intent of sale from the buyer to be current with the dangerous building fees. And then for the new owner to be able to meet with the building department to work out a plan with permission of the current owner.
I should suggest purchase agreement.
Purchase.
Yes.
That's the word.
Wait.
Purchase
We have an
agreement.
attorney here, because that's the word.
60 days.
Yeah,
Whatever.
purchase agreement.
You said
Or-
purchase.
Agreement.
Purchase agreement instead of letter of intent. Okay. So that's been moved by Councilmember Simmons, supported by Councilmember Fellows. Any discussion on this amendment? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Fellows,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson.
Yes.
The amendment carries.
So we're on the amended resolution. Is there any further discussion before we vote?
That whole thing, I second.
Oh,
No, she made a motion. She didn't have to agree. She made a motion with support.
It's 11 o'clock.
All right, if there's no further discussion, please call the roll.
Councilmember Tucson,
yes.
Councilmember Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Fellows.
Yes.
The amended motion carries.
Nope, the resolution. That's the whole thing, right? That was the whole thing. All right, yeah, okay. All right, Councilmember Fellows, you have 083.
Do I? Oh.
Yeah.
It is resolved by the Council of the City of Ypsilanti that after hearing the presentations and considerations, the FOIA request and the denial notice, and considering the FOIA Act and the facts and circumstances of the matter, it is hereby resolved that the FOIA appeal of Ashvin Nori is granted, and any non-exempt material in response to the FOIA request shall be furnished to the appellant. Oh. Or the FOIA appeal of Ashvin Nori is denied.
Support.
I will wait to move it, I guess, because it's one or the other again.
You check the box after you deliberate on the issue, but
Okay.
somebody second.
Oh,
Yeah.
Councilmember Fellows and Councilmember Simmons. Okay.
So this is a continuation of our last discussion on this. Involves 26-41 and 26-45. These are related to a request by Mr. Nori for an unredacted police report arising from an incident that occurred on February 24th of this current year, actually, and a follow-up request for the unredacted video of the officer's interactions with the complainants. And so we denied those requests based on the privacy exception. It stands to reason that when personal information is given on camera, given in the course of a police investigation regarding persons who claim to be victims of criminal activity, it should not be produced under FOIA anyway to an individual who is the person suspected of that activity and was the subject of that investigation. And so recommendation is that the council stand behind the denial on that basis. Of course, if there is ultimately a charge, I can't speak to the status of that because I don't know it. If there is ultimately a charge under the court rules and other statutory provisions, he would be entitled through his counsel to receive that information unredacted, but under FOIA, he is not.
Mayor Pro Tem.
So, if I understand you correctly, the person requesting this is part of an investigation himself.
Correct.
That this could be evidence in. So this goes back to some of the other things we were talking about with the other larger case is that, yeah, you can get this during discovery, but you can't get it during FOIA.
Different. Slightly.
Civil case versus criminal.
Right. So this particular police report or this case report and the related video arise from a police investigation of a complaint that a crime was committed or one or more crimes were committed. And I have to be careful here because I don't want to tread on anybody's rights. But at the end of the day, we were asked to produce the report and we were asked to produce the video audio from body cam, dash cams, that sort of thing. When we do that in the FOIA context, the privacy rights of the persons who are making the complaint to the police are protected under the privacy exemption. Separately, that information can be obtained if there is a charge, because there would be a separate production obligation on the part of the prosecutor to share that information with counsel or with the individual should they choose to represent themselves in defense of those charges. But under FOIA, it is not, the focus is not on the operations of government. The focus is on the identities and personal information related to the accusers. And so that is an appropriate exemption to apply in this case.
Thank you. Other questions from council? Councilmember Simmons.
I'll just say, so I'm just looking at, and I'm like, oh, some of this information we got the last time, right? So this, we got something additional today in our packet that we didn't have before, right? I just want to confirm.
Yeah, it wasn't in the packet.
So the appeal of 41 was not in the last packet. The appeal of 45 is in this one. So the appeal of 41 is the police report itself with redacted information regarding the reporting parties or complaining parties. This is the same incident, the same report, but it is now requesting that the, I guess, bleep outs of those individuals sharing their personal information on the video. He wants that unredacted as well. And that would have the same outcome, as it's inappropriate under the privacy exemption.
And then just, again, this is kind of for clarity. I'm looking at this. So Mickens, is that one of our officers? Or actually it's like
No.
That's a person that is a part of this situation. And then it seems like, just as, again, as I'm trying to figure out, because I'm looking at this and it looks like they're just kind of pulling out the different parts that are redacted that they then want unredacted. But one of them seems like it's for his social security number, which seems weird that you would want that unredacted. So, I don't know. Anyway.
That wasn't particularly clear to me, but I'm just curious why he would.
I mean, I would just say, like, I mean, I would hope that Social Security, I wouldn't want to unredact Social Security numbers, but okay, those are my questions.
Any further questions? Okay. So we need like an amendment now to pick one.
Yep. So if council is going to grant the appeal, then it would vote to grant the appeal. If it wants, the motion would be then to deny the appeal, then that's what it would vote on.
Move to deny the appeal.
Supported. Please call the roll.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Mayor Brown, Councilmember Fellows,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson,
Yes.
Councilmember Simmons.
Yes.
Motion to deny carries.
That's sufficient, right? Even though, okay. All right. What are you doing? Oh. Okay. Wait. Are we done? I thought that's what I'm asking, because the original resolution was read into the record and then we just did a vote to deny. Technically, we should vote on the whole thing again, right? But you're no, all right. That's just not. I'm never.
Splitting hairs.
I know. Just making sure. All right. Thanks everybody. The meeting's adjourned.
Comment?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope, they didn't utilize the first, so.
Oh, that's right.
Bob,
You have a
I
question
get
for
that.
Joe?
yeah,
It's to go.
this email that you were talking. Pull that up.
Oh, yeah, I didn't go through, I'd have to go back through the whole thing, to be honest, because it was
Let me
long.
catch up and then.
But it was mainly, it was just because it was, it mentioned you coming out, didn't it?
Mhm.
So it was from, it was.
Still going to